Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Miracle. This is Population Me, and today we're going over part 2 of my budgeting goals for 2025. Even though the year has like 5 months and August is almost here, we're gonna start our budgeting journey. I'm lying. I already started my budgeting journey. I just want to make a more valid effort to know what the heck I'm budgeting. And this is part 2 because part 1 was me basically being transparent about how much I make, how much I spend, how much is being saved. And this is a more in detail version of what I want to actually save, what I wanted to actually spend, and what I want to not make because I can't control that, but just like my goals of how much I want to have by like the end of the year, just based on what I'm currently doing today and not what I was doing the last 2 years since I started my job. Full transparency, I started saving since I was in college, because when you don't have much of a job and you have to pay rent, you still have to budget something, otherwise you're gonna be broke. Let's just be for real. And I could never have gotten my first apartment, which is this place, without having to budget my income in college. So I've always budgeted before. I don't have a problem budgeting before. I just never personally made a template before. I never did the whole I'm gonna make sure I know where my money is going before. I just put it somewhere in my bank, automate all of my bills, and then call it a day and hope I don't go out to eat that day. Like I was just like, I gotta exercise self-control, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But today I'm gonna show you guys more of it's gonna be another template. We all know how this goes. I'm gonna keep using Notion. They're free until it's not. So I'm gonna keep using it. I'm gonna keep showing it off. I'm gonna keep exploring it with you guys. I don't make any of these templates. I always just look them up. It's just a lot easier, a lot quicker, and I don't have to like crash out halfway through because I'm ruining a formula. So I'm gonna use a whole nother template. And if you look over here, a whole nother template. It is actually different from the one I used last video, just because I didn't want to just copy paste it, because it would have been like a 5-minute video. And this one was considered a 50-30-20 rule, which I've heard but I've never done because I don't want to. I don't know. I just never cared. But I think it's supposed to be 50% is supposed to save towards savings. 30% is maybe for fixed costs, and 20% is for what you want to do with it. And shout out to this person who made it, Debbie, because I would never have touched this or made it myself if I've never saw it. But overall, you have what you need, what you want, and what you're saving. And I totally lied to you guys. You're actually saving 20%. If you want something, it's 30%. And if you need something, it's 50%. Wow. Really? Wow. Yikes. Hopefully, I don't have anything that I need that is becoming 50% of my income, because that's a lot. But anyway, right here we have our first table. If I was to zoom in a little bit for you guys. So right now we have need, and that is usually, we do need to pay rent, we do need to pay utilities, we do need to buy groceries. I don't know if that's considerate. But this is also a monthly budget, I hope, because I don't know what else we have. So we're basically budgeting for, if you watched my last video, I did say that I budget, or I make anywhere $5,000, give or take a few $100s. So I'm gonna say $5,000 per month. So how much do I want to budget that? Wait, this is for the entire thing. Okay. Okay, half of 5,000 is 2,500. We're gonna go based on this system. I don't necessarily think I'm gonna pay half for needs, but if this is based on the rule, let's do that. So I'm gonna get my calculator out because I don't know what 30% of 5,000 is. So let's say 5,000 times 0.3, and that is 1,500. Okay. And then savings is 20% of your income. So 5,000 times 0.2, and that is 1,000, and that does actually equal into $5,000. So I can't math. Great. Yeah, that's the sum. So for budgeting, or how much I budgeted, this is basically like in the future. So I will say this is like a 0. It cannot change. I think it's added up in these. So I can only change it in the lower table. But this is how much budget I have left based on if I went over or under. My actual, the formula, which I did not do, thank God. So first thing we're going to go into are our needs and how much we have to spend. So right now our needs is $2,500. This says our need is $900 and something else. I don't know where they got that number from, but we are going to go with the number I have. So rent, the budget is actually $1,125, so it should be that, and then I should actually be paying $1,125. That's how much I always pay, right? Transportation, I'm going to add in Ubers and public transportation, which if you saw in my last video is like $80 Ubers combined for a month, and then transportation is like $10. So it wouldn't be 100. I'm a budget for 100, sure, but in actuality it's probably like $90. And this is all coming from like June, not July. July we have birthdays, so we don't count that. Utilities is my gas and electricity, right? Should I count my Wi-Fi in that? No. Okay, gas and electricity combined is $40. So I'll budget for 100 just because that number can change just depending on if I feel like cooking 3 times a week and then the gas goes up. But in actuality, I pay around $40 because each, not $40, like $80 because each was around 40. Okay. So then groceries, I did say groceries and eating out for my last video was combined $140. So I will budget $200 and then the actuality would be $140. So then 140. And then we're gonna do page, because I gotta get my Wi-Fi in there. And then we can make a little icon. And that's a need, and that's my Wi-Fi just increased today, so I'm literally going to budget another $100, only for it to be like $51. Kind of annoying. It used to be $35, but they say your 2 years was up, so I'll have to pay a little more now. So already my total needs is $1,486, sort of similar to how it was in the last video. And this is all the things that I need to have, right? I need rent, I need utilities, I need my transportation. Well, that's a lie. Actually, I do need transportation. I'm gonna stand on business with that one because I do need to take transportation when I go out because either Uber or it's a bus or a train. And those are a need, not a want, because I will not be walking there. Groceries, I need that. Wi-Fi, I need that. So actually all of that is correct. So next, further down, we're gonna go into our savings and how much we're putting towards it. Now, based on these examples, I don't know why it says savings and it says credit card debt. I didn't know you can save on that. But for the first one, it is correct. I do have stock. I do budget stocks for like $100, which is automated. So I'm actually paying $100 towards my stock. It just goes straight into my account every month. So I can just like pay for stocks every month when it goes over there. Thank God I have no student loans, so I don't have to worry about. Oh yeah, I have like no debt, I think. But we can talk more about that because it's not technically 0, but it is technically a low number. So I do have stocks. I do have my monthly move-in. I don't know what to call it. Monthly move-in. And this is essentially when I move half of my income over to my savings account, and that happens automatically. And because I get paid twice a month, I get half of the paycheck per paycheck straight into the account. So that's around $2,500 combined. And I do budget for that entire thing because it's automated, right? And then credit card debt, I don't really have. Okay, so this is the part I have. I use Discover. right? I think most people do. I use Discover, use it since college, have to use Discover because I needed to build credit, and I hate credit cards. So I use it like once a month, I think, if that, just to build credit because they need you to have a debt to build credit. So I kind of do budget for it, but not because I'm like thinking about it. I just feel like, oh, I have to use my credit card in a hot minute. It has a minimum, so I'm gonna just swipe it one time and then forget about it for a month, and then I'll just have to pay it back in the back end. But the thing about Discover is that they don't charge you every month, or they don't charge you like the full amount that you spent that month. So you could spend like $200 that entire month, and then they'll only charge you per month like $100. I think it goes by like a minimum. So even if I look on Discover right now, it might say like $300. But that $300 has been accumulating for like 3 months. And it's only because they are like, oh, you're only paying like $100 per month. And I could pay it off all at once, but like, if I do that, when am I going to use my credit card next? And when am I going to build credit? Which my credit is pretty good, thank God, but it took like 2 years, and even they don't think it's that good because I'm really new at building credit. So I have to keep spending it. I have to keep using it in order to like slowly build credit, even if using it means swiping it one time at like a Walmart and then calling it a day and not using it until next month, but then paying like lower than what I spend just so that they think I'm really good at like paying back the government, I guess. So all that to say, I'm really budgeting anywhere like $200 per month just because they tend to touch my stuff and they want to be like, oh, no, and then I have to be like, oh, take my money, which I did use, but still. So actual budget, I haven't actually looked at it, so I don't actually remember because it's also automated. I automate like my life these days. So I'm gonna say 200 is because it could anywhere be 200 to like $100. So, and I don't actually look. I just have it just take my money. Like, here, take my money, and they do. So that's all I have for savings. The stocks, monthly move-in, which is kind of a funny way of saying I just move my money from my income to my savings account, and then credit card debt. Yeah, all that money. I don't really know if that money goes anywhere. I mean, I don't know if I save that money. I guess I do, but like not intentionally. But this is all about figuring out what I pay for unintentionally. And then if you watch my last video, there was one more where I said I get money from my checking account. I just put it straight into my savings account. And I would add that into the savings pile. The only issue is that it's not technically from my income. I'm only saving it just from my checking account, which has too much money, which means I have more money in my checking account than I do in my savings account. But I don't want to move it over all at once. So instead, I move $1,000 from my checking account per month into my savings account. And that's how I end up having more of an offsetted number. But I'm not including it into this because that's money isn't coming from an income. It's coming from whatever already exists. So it'll be cheating. I would just be adding 1,000 to my budget, which should have just been 6K instead of 5K if that's the case. So we're just gonna take it out. We're not gonna put it in here because that's like money that I'm lucky to have, and that is a rainy day fund, which we don't need here. But off quick topic, this is a really cute font. I think it's Arial, maybe. I think this is Times New Roman. But anyway, let's go into the wants, right? The wants is what I have to, like, what I want to want, right? What do I have, right? So they have some options here: entertainment, eating out, shopping. So I already included eating out into my grocery bill because it's just easier. I don't eat out technically. I buy chips here and there, and I buy that with my groceries here and there. So I don't want to like separate that because then I have to separate my grocery bill, and that's just doing the most. Entertainment, I don't have streaming services, nor do I go to the movies. I go to the movies like every other month. It's not really something I budget for. I just do it, and the tickets are like less than $20. So I don't really have that many wants. I guess I do go out with my friends and we do eat out. So I would keep that separate. Just it's obviously not just chips. So So I guess I would budget. I definitely would not budget like $100. So last month was like Pride Parade, right? And I did go out to eat with my friend, and the actual out was like $35. We went to like a really nice restaurant that was all the way in the north side. Where was it? Where was Pride Parade last month? I think it was around Boys Town. So I had gotten like food. You may have seen the video. So shopping, I don't really shop. I go thrifting, but I don't thrift clothing often. And I definitely don't buy clothing. I just go to clothes swaps. That doesn't really count. So I just delete that. Entertainment, I don't really go out that often. So I can delete that. So I guess I hope I'm not lying to myself. Now that I think about it, I probably should make a journal of what I do every month. Well, it seems like I only eat out, and that's like around $50, but I actually budget for $35. And just in the month of June, I really didn't go out that much. I was gone for a week on the Pride Parade. Well, I went to Pride Month. I didn't really go to the parade. And then I didn't really go out that many times. So I think I'm good. I think that's literally all I've done for the month of June specifically. Maybe for the month of July, the number would be like $1,000. So just like going out with people. I don't know. But let's go back up to our number. But let's make sure first everything we said so far isn't a lie, or if I like remember a whole like thing I'm paying for. So for needs, so far it's $1,486. I'm paying for rent, transportation, utilities, groceries, and Wi-Fi. Trying to think now if I'm paying for anything else. Oh, I'm paying for insurance. Oh my god, I actually did forget something. Yes, I am actually paying for my insurance. Totally forgot about that. I can spell insurance. I'm gonna put butterfly. I don't really care. Actually, no, let's put teacher. This one. Okay. So for insurance, total I pay $600 for dental and for vision. But that's $600 per year, not per month. So I'm paying like $50. But I am paying it yearly, so I don't actually touch this money, but it's also automated. It sounds great. My medical insurance is paid by my company, and I don't think I pay that high of a cost. So I think it's like $10 a month, and it's automatically taken out. I don't remember, so I don't want to include it. But it's really low because my company pays for a majority of it. But I do pay for my own dental and vision because it's cheaper. I don't know. But yeah, these are the 6 things that I'm paying for in needs. So the new number is $1,536, which is an actual thing, I guess. And then for savings, I'm saving $2,800. I guess I say stock is obviously being saved because it's going towards something to giving back dividends. I am doing my monthly move-in, so it moves my income to my check savings account. My credit card debt, which I wouldn't really call it debt, but it is being saved. So yeah, I will add one more thing. Even though I'm not adding the $1,000 from my checkings to my savings, I will add my interest rate. I am getting that I'm getting from my savings account, just because I don't actually budget for this. It just comes in. And the reason why I'm adding it is because the more money you make in your savings account, the more money you get interest back. So it's still like 4%, like 3.78 or whatever. I don't know what to use. I'm using brain. But for this one, I don't budget money. It just automatically comes in. But just to inflate my numbers and feel good about myself, I get anywhere from like $78 to $50. I don't know. It was $78 last month, and that's all we care about. So now we're saving like $2,878. And if you're confused about the credit card debt, I don't really have debt. It just takes out like the most minimal amount, and that depends on if I even use it. So I do a budget for $200, but will that be $200? Yes, sometimes, and sometimes it's less. But for this month, it was $200. Well, this month being June, it was $200 that was taken out. but it also gives me interest rates based on if I shopped at like a grocery store, or if I shopped at a gas station, or if I went to like a fancy restaurant. You get cash back. So that cash back actually lowers my amount from like $200 to like $180. So yeah, and that's how much I would budget for it, how much I would save based on that. But realistically, I don't know if I would add credit card debt, because now I think about it, that's not really a savings account. But I don't know, they left it in there, so I felt like I needed to put it in there. So I'm gonna put it in the wants. I don't know why. That sounds really stupid to put it in wants, but it doesn't sound like a need, because it's not like a normal number. So I'm gonna put my credit card debt in here. Let's get a card. I like this one. And then I'm budgeting for $200. And then I'm actually paying like less than $180. At least that's how much I paid last month. Yeah, but it's not like real debt. Like if you look in my account, which I won't do right now, it's like $300 max on there. I could pay that off today. I have to use it, unfortunately, otherwise I will get $35 monthly interest. So let's see the top of how much I finally have. So based on the needs, wants, and savings, 50, 30, 20%. I budgeted for, it's all for the month of June. Month of June, great. So for my budget, I have $2,500. So I said I'm budgeting $2,500. I actually budgeted $1,675. I have $825 left in that amount, which actually it made sense, because in my last video a few days ago, I literally said that the leftover money was like around $800 something. So that actually works out for like what I have. And then for wants, which is the eating out and everything, plus my debt, was $1,500. I actually budgeted it $250. And I have $1,250 left over. Make sure that's correct. Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. And then for savings, I have budgeted for $1,000, because 20%, I guess. And then I actually budgeted for $2,680. I fluffed the number up by giving it $8 more. And then I actually have no more money to save, which is like $1,680 negatively, because I guess savings is not considered a plus sign, is considered a negative sign in this template. But technically that's a good thing, because that means I saved more money than how much they expected me to save if I went by the 20% rule. So I actually have $825 left of what I budget. But of my wants and my savings, the wants should be negative and then the savings should be positive. So if you were to add that up, it says here it would be a sum of $335 left. But I think they did the numbers wrong because it is supposed to be like savings should be positive and then wants should be negative. But I guess I'll have to do the number myself. So 825, which is going to be added to the wants, which is $1,250. Total of that is $2,075. Subtract that from how much I'm actually subtract that from how much I'm budgeting, which how much I'm savings, which is $1,680. So yeah, I really do not save, but I can cut that out. But yeah, this number is a little bit different. Obviously, I'm not actually losing money because I saved money. I saved more than I was supposed to. I did save a lot more money when I had to spend a lot more. So this number is a little bit different. But I'm doing pretty well. I don't think I actually counted this correctly, or maybe I did and I just fucked it up. But my needs, this is how much I'm spending. So I'm spending $1,536 of 5K. Savings, this is how much money I save. $2,678, which is more than half of my actual income. and then eating out is $215. So if I was to do the literal math myself, that would mean I spend $215 plus $1,536. So I spent a total amount of $1,751 out of $5,000, which is an equation of $3,249. So you might be wondering, where is the extra $1,000 going? I honestly don't remember where that money went. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know where that extra $1,000 went towards. But I it might have gone out to my account. Maybe this is a little higher than I thought. But yeah, based on what I am just thinking off the top of my head, this is everything that I'm paying for, saving for, and just spending. So it's a little bit, fucked up, basically. My first time doing a budget, so obviously I don't have the numbers written down, like step by step what I paid for, but I do have a rounded number of what I'm spending. So if you see eating out or you see credit card debt, that is more or less what I am paying for. But as I said before, everything I do is automated, so I don't actually have a want of anything. But this is the part where I want to say, like, okay, how much I want to spend and how much I want to save. So realistically, I wouldn't actually budget this high of a money. I'm not gonna lie. Like, the need being budgeted 50% is a little high for me. Me personally, I'd rather budget like $1,000, maybe like $2,000. But if this is how the account should be, then yeah, I'll do it for this. We can actually do it for, it's gonna be so dumb to say, but let's do it for the month of August instead of July. So that way I can actually say, like, hey, this would be a lot easier and it'd be a more normal number, because in July I'm going out of state. So I don't have any reason to take July as my control month and then go spend like $1,000 there. Also, I celebrate like 2 people's birthday parties this month. So I have also one less reason to make it this a control month. So I'm actually gonna save this for next month and take you guys along with me to like show you guys what I'm paying for. Not really, I'm not gonna go that in debt, but just to show you like, oh, this is how much I spent this week. let's do this. So obviously when this month is over, I'm gonna start afresh. I'm gonna show you guys, this is how much I'm making, or not really. Well, yeah, actually, this is how much I made for this like 2 weeks or whatever. Let's see how much of this money is going towards bills or whatever. And for utilities, we're probably gonna use July's utilities because my utilities come at the end of the month or the first of the next month, and they take the money from like this month, I pay for July's bill, obviously. So for August month, we're gonna be paying for July's bills for utilities, which is fine because that's probably gonna be the same anyway. That's probably like that, and rent is like the control group anyway, so it's fine. But we're gonna do this in August, not this month, because this month has too much going on because it's summer, right? Give me a little bit of slack. And next month we're going back on track because why not? But this is more of a way for me to be on top of what I'm paying for and see if I need to stop buying chips every week and just buy more groceries and call it a day for the month. And just see where my money is going and if I need to like adjust for things. Obviously, this is all for a more financially nicer year. I wouldn't call it financially free because I think I'm doing okay. It just wouldn't hurt to know where my money is going outside of where I think I'm putting it. And since everything's automated, I don't actually look to see if I'm being overpaid on anything. So this would be a good way to like keep my eye on things. But that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for listening to me yap for 30 minutes, essentially, talk about my budget or how I don't know as much as I should know. But this is more of what I'm going to use in August. So keep an eye out if you're looking for that. I'm going to see if I could do like maybe once a week budget payment. I know I don't get paid like until like every other week, but I know essentially how much I will be paid. And I already know like, oh, I'm going to the store this week. Let me write that down, or let me put that in my, template automatically so I don't forget, or throw away the receipt. So that would be good for me to do. So maybe I will forget that I'm paying for some other bill, and I just totally remembered after I was forced to pay for it. So that's what I have for you guys today. thank you guys for watching, and see you guys in my next video for my next goal that I'm trying to do. Don't remember my goals right now. All I remember is I still have them. So I'll see you guys next week for them in the last week of July. See you guys. Bye.